Real estate agents who are growing 100,000 Instagram followers in 2026 aren't influencers, they're not celebrities, and they're not even posting on a day-to-day basis. They're actually using a system, and in this video, I'm going to hand you the exact system that you can use in order to grow 1,000, 10,000, and even 100,000 followers in 2026. Now, if you're a real estate agent and you're tired of feeling invisible on Instagram, this is going to be your roadmap, and it's even going to show you exactly how you can get there even if you're starting from zero. If you hate being on camera or if you think that the market is too small, this video is going to change absolutely everything. And how do I know that this works? Because we've helped agents across different cities, different niches, and experience levels go from 0 to 10,000 to 30,000 and even 90,000 followers without ever having to dance, do trending audio clips, or even becoming content slaves to content or pieces of content that they never wanted to create to begin with. One of our agents in Virginia went from 700 followers to over 32,000 followers in just 6 months using the same exact system. Another one of our agents out of Silicon Valley landed 3 listings from one reel. So this isn't some sort of growth hack. It's a machine that's going to generate attention for you at scale. Let's go ahead and get started. Instagram growth for agents just like you is not about luck. It's not about posting as much content as possible. It's literally about layering these 3 key stages of momentum into your business. When we get started with the first level, level 1, which is going from 0 to 1,000 followers, which perhaps is the hardest phase to get out of, here's where we're testing things out. We're trying to see exactly what themes, what topics, and what niches you can actually tap into in order to grow your following the fastest. Now, when we get into level 2, which is typically going from 1,000 followers to 10,000 followers, this is going to be where your content starts proving that you're reaching new people on a consistent basis and you're actually engaging well with other accounts. Now, when you get to level 3, which is typically between 10,000 followers and 100,000 followers, this isn't just about the quality or the consistency of the content. It really boils down to the way in which you engage with your audience and your followers and the exact calls to action that you have along the way so that they can consistently come in and opt in to follow you, to go and download your lead magnets, and most importantly, of course, to come back and stay tuned with more of your content. Now, most agents fail at level 1, and it's not because they aren't smart or consistent. It's primarily because they don't have the blueprint. And today, in this video, I'm going to give you that same exact blueprint. Now, if you're anything like me, you might be a little skeptical to begin with. You might say things like, Michael, I'm not good on video. My market is already saturated. There's a ton of people creating content on Instagram. I don't want to be cringe, Michael. I don't want to do dances. And let me be clear. Top agents in 2026 are not influencers. They're educators, they're storytellers, and even more so, they are community connectors. You don't need perfect equipment. You don't need a fancy camera. What you need is clarity. You also don't need to post 5 times a day. You need the right 3 posts on a consistent basis. You don't need 1 million followers. What you need is the right people following you. Let me ask you this question. If you had 1 million followers, all from a different country, how would that serve you and your business? Would you rather have 1 million followers from a complete different country, or would you rather have 1,000 followers all within your community? Again, you need the right people following you. My job with agents is to help them become much more influential, not help them become influencers. And if you are here to try to become some sort of Instagram socialite or some sort of TikTok star, this is not the video for you. So please leave right now. Now that we've gotten rid of people that were here to simply be influencers and you are here because you're looking to grow your Instagram profile and really build the foundation, let's start with step 1. Step 1 is to build your real estate brand's foundation. In order for you to win on Instagram in 2026, especially as a real estate professional, as a real estate agent, you can't just post your listings and expect people to flood into your DMs. You need to have a real brand that actually people can connect with. Instead of showcasing the latest house that you sold, we're going to use the foundation analogy in order to build your house step by step. Think of your Instagram presence like a brand new build. Every single new build or new home needs a really good foundation. Then we work our way in and finally polish it from the inside and the outside. So let's go ahead and talk about the foundation, which is your niche and your subtopics. This is the first thing you need to get crystal clear on, your niche. Most agents make the mistake of being way too broad. I help buyers and I help sellers. That is so broad. It's not niche. That's just being an agent at the bare minimum, and we already know that you are that. But what you need to do is pick one very clear niche that's actually going to resonate with a very specific audience so that they can actually pay attention to you when you're speaking to their ideal desires or their problems that they're currently going through. Here are a few examples. You could be a real estate agent to first-time buyers in your city. You could be the agent who helps luxury sellers in a very specific neighborhood. Or you could be the agent who helps families relocate into a very specific metro area. You could also be the type of agent who helps investors focused on Airbnbs and multifamily opportunities. Once you have chosen your niche, you're going to want to write down 3 to 5 different subtopics that you're going to consistently talk about. And what this does, when you have 3 to 5 different subtopics, this becomes your entire content engine. For example, if your niche is move-up sellers in the Nashville area, your subtopics are going to be the best times to sell and buy in the current market here in Nashville, how to prep your home to maximize your sale price here in Nashville, buying and selling at the same time, and how to avoid the gap if you live here in Nashville. You could also create things like Nashville neighborhood breakdowns and explain exactly which neighborhoods have HOAs, which ones are up and coming, and of course, which ones are some of your favorite neighborhoods to tour. You could also do things like real client case studies and negotiation strategies here in the Nashville area. What this does is it becomes your entire content menu. You'll never wonder what to post again, and your ideas are always going to be driven from this pool of subtopics that you should be using. Once you have these things in place, now that we have the foundation of your brand, what we're looking to do is to see how we're going to stage your home, aka the interior of the house, which is going to be your voice, your stories, and your values. What you need to understand is that this is the part of your brand that people are going to intellectually and emotionally connect with you. It's your why, it's your personality, it's your experience, all woven into the way in which you present your content. Here's how it actually shows up in your videos. When you're creating educational content, for example, because every agent needs to create some sort of education-based marketing. When you're doing this, you're going to want to teach people something about the process, but teach it your way, with your energy, with your take, with real life examples that you can go ahead and say, when I did this and we approached this problem, here's how I fixed it, and here's how you can take action. For example, 3 things no one tells first-time buyers here in Austin and why I had to learn them the hard way. Or when you're creating storytelling content, you want to go ahead and share some real life stories, your own or your clients. Show them the ups as much as you show them the downs. You want to discuss the logic as much as you discuss the emotion. For example, the time a seller of mine almost lost $70,000 and how we turned it around in less than 48 hours. Now, when you're creating authority content, here's where you're going to want to showcase your results, share before and after photos or before and after states. You're going to want to have some statistics as well, some outcomes, and more than anything, bring some receipts. For example, how I turned a stale listing into 7 offers with 1 minimal tweet and sold it in less than 48 hours. This is what's going to make the difference between you and every single other agent that's simply regurgitating headlines or reading their ChatGPT prompts. The interior is your uniqueness. The interior is your brand. It's your voice, it's your values, and your personality, and how you want to present yourself so that other people get to know you, get to like you, learn to respect you, and learn to trust you. Because your job is to drop the skepticism and increase the trust so that more people stay tuned into what you got to say next. Now let's talk about your visual identity or the exterior of the home. Of course, the way that a house presents itself outside tells very much so how well and how neat it is going to be on the inside. It's the same exact thing with your business and your brand. So your visual identity is this. This is what people are going to notice in the very first 3 seconds of your videos. This could be seen in the form of your editing style, your color schemes, your fonts, your overall aesthetic. What you want is for people to recognize your content before they even see your handle. So what you got to decide on for your business and your brand, of course, if you don't have these things already, is choosing up to 3 consistent colors that can go ahead and be in alignment with your business and your brand. You also want to make sure that you have up to 2 fonts. What I typically recommend people is choose a bold main font for things like hooks and a clean secondary fonts for things like captions. And of course, you want to have some sort of optional stylish accent that you can go ahead and apply into your business and your brand. When it comes to the visual elements of your brand, are you going to be using things like maps, listing screenshots, green screen breakdowns, walking tours, charts? What exactly are you going to be filming? Your job here is to make sure that your visual identity is recognizable, repeatable, and more than anything, something that you can maintain and keep up with. Think of creators that you already follow. You probably know what their brand looks like within seconds. And that's the goal right here, for other people to get that immediate aha when they see your business and your brand. Let me be the first to tell you that brands are built. They are not born. Don't post like every other agent. If you go to hashtag Compass, for example, what you're going to see is the same black and white post across the board without any sort of personality. And no offense to you, Mr. Refkin, or anybody that might be at Compass that's watching this video. What you want to make sure that you do is that you post like a brand that people are meant to remember. And that sets us up for step 2. You have to learn to optimize your profile, and there's a wrong way of doing things and there's a right way of doing this. This is your Instagram landing page. In other words, this is your modern day business card. And just like every single real estate listing that you've ever tried to sell, first impressions do matter. In less than 5 seconds, should already know exactly who you are, what market you serve, and how you can help them. And of course, one of the main things that most agents typically get wrong is their call to action. You need to be very clear on your profile in letting people know exactly what next logical step they got to take. So let's go ahead and break this down piece by piece, and let me show you the wrong way that most agents do this, or the right way in which you're going to learn how to do it. For example, the wrong way of doing this is having a link tree with 9 different options like your newsletter, a free guide, a home search, etc. Why is it bad? Because when you give people too many choices, you overwhelm them. At the end of the day, have you ever been happy to read through a menu that has 50,000 items in it? Probably not. Confused visitors don't click, they leave. The right way of doing this is using one primary landing page that pushes to one clear call to action. For example, if you're a listing agent, you might send them to your seller's guide landing page. If you help people with relocating, you might send them to that funnel. If you work with people who are actually in the process of going from renting to owning, you might send them to that funnel. At the end of the day, you have to make sure that people take one logical next step. A bonus tip for you is, if you're the kind of agent that's going to sit here and tell me, well, I service buyers and sellers and all of these different things, and you have to use multiple links, instead do this. Build one custom landing page with a single mobile optimized page that is going to have one very clear call to action for whatever the journey of that particular lead is going to be. If they are sellers, send them that way. If they are buyers, send them that way. But don't distract them with 10,000 different offers, because that's going to create chaos and confusion, and that's exactly what we're looking to avoid here. The next thing that is typically done wrong by agents is they have long ass usernames. For example, @homes_with Lauren_Texas_9273. What the hell? But the right way would simply be @LaurenJohnson, or @Johnson Real Estate, or @Homes by Lauren. Why does this matter? Because you want to be searchable. It's got to be easy to remember, and you have to look like a real person, not a freaking bot. Unless you are a bot, in which case, bye-bye. You want to avoid using underscores and or numbers for any sort of handles. The reason why is because most people don't even know how to spell your name to begin with. At least that's what we got to assume. So we have to make it super easy for them to find you. The next thing is that most people get wrong is their entire Instagram bio. So you have to use the 4-line framework. What most people do wrong is they have a jumbled mess of emojis, and they have traffic being sent to other pages like their broker, or quotes like realtor, wife, dog mom. What the hell? The right way of doing this is using the 4-line framework. First things first, who do you help? I help move up sellers in Dallas. Your second line is what outcome they get. You can buy and sell without any chaos. Your third line might be something like authority or proof. Over 500 families helped and top 1% in the DFW. And finally, your call to action. This is where you let them know to get their free pricing guide by clicking on the link below. This makes your value crystal clear and it tells them exactly what to do next. Again, we showcase the logical next step. And this should be the easiest one to fix. And quite honestly, I can't even believe that I'm actually talking about this, but your freaking profile photo. Never have a blurry car selfie, a group photo, or something far away with sunglasses on. What you actually want is a clear close-up headshot of your face, solid or branded background with good lighting. It's that simple. You can use tools like Canva to automatically remove your background and change it with your brand colors. Your face is the brand. Your face is the people or the person that they actually hire. So you have to make it easy for people to recognize the team member or the person that they're actually looking to hire. As we get ready to go into the next step, which is step 3 and choosing the right posting schedule for your business or your brand, what I want you to do is simply click the like button on this YouTube video because it takes a lot of time to create this content for you. And I want to make sure that you are getting the most value going forward. Step 3 is all about choosing your posting schedule. There's easy, moderate, or hard mode. And honestly, I personally love hard mode, but you're going to get started wherever you might feel best. Now that your brand and your foundation is built and your profile is fully optimized, it's time to start showing up consistently. But here's the truth. The algorithm doesn't trust you yet. Your job is to earn that trust by proving that you're not a one-hit wonder. So what you got to do is pick your difficulty level. Easy mode is going to be posting 3 times a week, at least 1 reel. Moderate mode is going to be posting 5 times per week with a minimum of 3 reels. And hard mode is going to be posting 1 to 2 times per day, mostly reels. There's no perfect schedule, just the one that you're actually going to stick to. And quite honestly, every single time that you pick up your phone, if you're not creating, you're a consumer. And you don't want to be a consumer when you're trying to generate business from Instagram. Think of Instagram like a gym. Results don't come from intensity, they come from consistency. So here's a pro tip. Assign your content days a little bit of structure during the week so that you can go ahead and eliminate decision fatigue. For example, on Mondays, you can make sure that you're posting an educational reel. On Wednesdays, you can make it all about telling a story about the previous week and how that went. And on Fridays, you can go ahead and do some videos of behind the scenes or a carousel of what you're currently working on. Or if you're following a Monday through Friday schedule where you're posting 5 reels per week, simply choose Saturday and Sunday as a bonus to post more stories to create more engagement. Having pre-assigned content types per day makes content creation much easier. Not to mention faster and more strategic. What happens if you miss a day? Absolutely nothing, unless you stop entirely. And just understand this, in general, anytime that you choose something 2 times in a row, it's a choice. It is not something that you just happen to miss. Remember that you are not posting just to post. You're actually training the algorithm and you're training your audience to expect you to be in front of them. You want them to say that is the agent that actually shows up on a day-to-day basis and somebody that I can count on to learn from. Because that's the kind of trust you want to build by helping them drop their skepticism and turning that lurker or that random viewer into an actual lead. And that's what's going to set us up for step 4, which is learning how to write In step 4, our job is to write better short form scripts using these 7 factors. This is typically where good content becomes great because if you're posting reels without scripting and you're just winging it, you're literally throwing your efforts and your videos at a wall, hoping something sticks. You're actually leaving views behind, followers behind, and leads on the table. What I say to each and every single one of my clients is don't wing it. Every great short form video starts with scripting, not just getting in front of a camera and shooting. So let's go ahead and break down the 7 factors that every single high performing short form real estate video needs in order to grow, especially if you want to be the person that actually builds a brand and not somebody that tries to go viral every once in a blue moon. Very first thing that you want to decide on is the topic. Pick one from your subtopics list. The biggest mistake agents make is trying to cram up too much into one single video. Each short should focus on one hyper-specific topic with one hyper-specific solution. Pull directly from your niche and your subtopics. For example, 3 mistakes sellers make when pricing a home here in Scottsdale. Remember, you gotta choose one subtopic per script. Keep it narrow, clear, and local. The second thing that you got to look out for is your hooks. You got 3 different types of hooks. You got verbal hooks, you got visual hooks, and you have written hooks. If you don't know how to hook people in 3 seconds, actually in the first 1.7 seconds, they're going to scroll. Period. That's why you need all 3 hooks in every single short form video. A verbal hook is what they want to hear immediately. For example, if you're a real estate agent in Miami, you might say something like, if you're moving to Miami, don't buy this house until you hear this. The visual hook is what they see. So what you want to have is some eye-catching B-roll, a map zoom in, a dramatic gesture, a bold color pop, or something in front of you that visually catches their attention. And then you have the written hook in big, bold letters, something like 3 buyer traps to avoid in 2026. Use the 5 times rule for inspiration. Search Instagram Reels from small creators in your niche. Find videos that got 5 times their follower count in views. Reverse engineer their hook structure. Don't steal their words word for word. Steal their framework and make it yours. And as a pro tip, your first frame matters more than your lighting or your camera gear ever will. The third thing that you want to look out for is value. Real, measurable, and local. This is the meat of the video. So think about it like your hook is 1 slice of bread and your call to action is another slice of bread. What you put in between is the real meat of the video and what separates a lead generating short form from a fluffy, ugly, disgusting sandwich is exactly what you put on it. In this case, it's going to be the value. But something measurable is more like, we saved this buyer $11,000 with 1 clause and here's how. Your value should be specific. 3 ways to win a bidding war in Manassas, Virginia. Actionable. Use this small email template to negotiate down your closing costs. Local. Why this neighborhood is selling 2 times faster than the rest of the market in this town. Your job is to ask yourself, what are they going to do differently after they watch this video? And at this point in time, you're going into the 4th step, which is your scripting angle. This is how you're going to choose a structure to create your video. You can turn one idea into 7 different videos by simply changing the angle. A content angle might be a tutorial. For example, how to buy and sell at the same time without going homeless. Another one might be a comparison video, which is buying versus renting in Denver. Which one is smarter in 2026? Another angle might be myth busting. No, you don't need 20% down in order to buy a home in 2026. Another angle is the do's versus don'ts. Don't skip this step before touring your next home. Another angle might be a tip or a hack. For example, 1 question to ask every agent before you go to list your home. Another angle that you can think about is the transformation. And I love the transformation because people love watching before and afters, how we staged this home and got 6 offers in less than 24 hours. And of course, one of the best angles that you should master is the challenge. For example, can you spot what's wrong with this listing photo? All of these videos have the same thought process in mind. It is one topic, multiple videos, different angles that you can go ahead and create, and you can stretch your content much further, much faster, and much easier. When we get to step 5, we're talking about the call to action. Remember that sandwich we were talking about? So we spoke about hooks. We've also spoken about what to put in between, which is the meat of your video. And now we're going to talk about the last slice of bread, which is your call to action. Every short form video that you create has one single job, which is to get a follower or start a conversation with a potential lead. Some of the most common calls to action might be something like this, and you want to go ahead and write this down. But before I tell you what calls to action to use, make sure you subscribe to this channel. For example, that was a call to action. What you want to make sure is that you're constantly giving people a call to action instead of confusing them. I see too many agents do this. Follow me, text me, email me, DM me, send a pigeon to my house, jump on a jet and knock on my door. Like, what the hell are you doing? You have to pick one single call to action, like the one I gave you to subscribe to this channel. Now, here are some examples that you can use for yourself. Follow me for more New York City buyer tips. DM me the word move for my free relocation guide. Save this post if you're buying in 2026. Comment the word sell for a custom pricing breakdown. You can use Meta's AI tools inside of Messenger or ManyChat to auto-reply to keywords in the comments or DMs and send leads directly into your CRM and your funnels. The next thing that we need to figure out is the exact format of how you're going to deliver your content. Think of a format as your delivery vehicle. The same content, but switching up the format can massively increase the retention. Here are some high-performing formats for real estate agents that we have seen all of 2025 that are going to work really well in 2026. For example, using green screens to react to listings, headlines, or news articles in your market. You could do a back and forth clone, an agent versus a buyer character in an FAQ style, where it's you acting as the buyer, asking the question to the agent, and you answering as the agent. Or you in a whiteboard teaching a concept with a dry erase board. Why is that? Because people love to pay attention to what you're actually writing. Or you can do a walking tour where you're talking and touring homes or neighborhoods where you're looking to farm your business or even establish yourself as the go-to agent. You can also screen record yourself walking something through the MLS, like going through a listing, looking at the different comps, and actually explaining with a voiceover exactly what's happening. And of course, one of the most favorite ones, and perhaps the easiest one for you to get started with, is a talking head video with B-roll. This is simple, it's clean, and the delivery is right there because you can simply read from a teleprompter and deliver the content and the value to your viewers. Don't stay stuck in one format. It's important for you to rotate between 2 to 3 of them in order to keep your content dynamic and engaging. And the last part is that your editing style should be recognizable. There's such thing as the Hormozy edits that got very famous in 2023 and 2024. Your editing style should feel like a visual brand. This is the exterior of your content of your house. Some of the key components that you want to pay attention to are consistent colors in your branding, consistent on-brand fonts for your bold headlines and your readable captions. You also want to make sure that you're adding things such as fast cuts. You don't want to have any long pauses or any dead air in between you and the video. You want to have visual cues such as arrows, emojis, and different things popping up throughout the screen. And you want to have very subtle, kind of on beat background music. Your goal when someone sees your video should be like, oh wow, this looks like a Michael video. Oh wow, this looks like a Jackie video. Oh wow, this is a great video done by Michael. And look at this person, they also look like Michael. That's exactly what you want to accomplish with your videos. Once you start doing all of this and you wrap up, you script and you shoot your video, you have to understand this. Great content doesn't happen at the camera, it happens in the script. So before you pick up your phone or you hire a videographer, come on, say hi, Chris. What's up? You have to choose your topic. You have to research your hook. You have to build in the real value of your video. You need to decide on the format and you need to write your call to action. Preparation. I always say this to my team. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So you want to be prepared and over prepared so that you're not scrambling last minute looking like a dumbass on camera. It's important for you to visualize how the video is going to look and feel. Then and only then get to filming. Now we get into step 5 of this entire process, which is the batch content creation. And this is for those people that are too busy to create content on a day-to-day basis. If you want to stay consistent, especially while you're juggling deals, showings, and life itself, batching content is going to become your best friend. This is how in over 20 states as of this video, we're able to help real estate agents batch create content for up to 6 months in one sitting. And by one sitting, I don't mean we show up for 2 hours and then we're done. Literally, we go out to you, we spend anywhere between 3 to 5 days in creating content, but then at that point in time, you have content for literally up to 6 months. So the way that we do this is like this, and here's how you can do it for yourself. What you want to do is actually take the time to script anywhere between 10 to 20 videos at once, using your subtopics list. What you want to go ahead and do is, with that subtopic list, write up to 20 short form video scripts in a document or a Notion page. Then use the 7-factor framework that I just shared. Doing this in one sitting saves massive amounts of time and decision fatigue. Get this over with as quickly as possible. You can do this in literally 20 minutes with the help of AI. Don't edit while scripting. Simply brain dump first. Pick topics for 1 or 2 of your sub niches per batch flow, and then pick the days where you're actually going to film this. It could be 1 day, it could be 2 days. And if you're doing it with us, you don't have to worry about it at all. Once the scripts are locked in, block off 1 to 2 days per month to film them all. This should be done either in a full Saturday or 2 weekdays in the mornings. One thing I always tell all of my clients is bring multiple outfits. Change your shirts every couple of videos and change your location every couple of videos. This is simply to create variety if that's something that you'd like. You can batch create similar formats of content such as green screen videos or talking head videos. You want to use a tripod, a ring light, and a lav mic for you to have the best speed in quality and also the look and feel of your videos. Next, you want to organize your footage like a professional. This is the hack that's going to separate an amateur from somebody that actually learns to build this like a professional. You want to go ahead and create a folder structure, such as a main folder for, let's say, January 2026 batch. Inside that folder, you want to create a subfolder for seller videos, buyer videos, green screen videos, talking head videos. You want to make sure that as soon as you are done with all of your raw video files, you upload them to this Dropbox or this Drive folder immediately so that you're not left organizing clips at the end. Now you're ready to send it to an editor or jump into the Captions app and edit them yourself really fast. If you're working with us, we're definitely going to take care of the editing and the distribution, but we're also already taking care of the filming, the scripting, the logistics, and everything in between. So if you want to press the easy button, go to the description on this video and simply schedule a call with me and my team. Now, if you're editing videos by yourself, they don't have to be fancy, but they do need to be clear, clean, and quick. And you've already done the hard work by batch filming. Now let's get them into a position where you can go ahead and publish them. Option number one is DIY editing. If you're just getting started, use an application like Captions or CapCut. It's free, beginner friendly, and mobile ready, so you can already get started on something like this. Or option two, you can go ahead and hire yourself a content editor. If you want to save some time and level up your quality, go onto Fiverr or Upwork and you can go ahead and find yourself an editor for your videos. Now, if you're using TPOS as an approved partner within the real estate industry, we're going to couple you up with a video editor and a video production manager that's going to have the content experience, that's going to be able to give you a clear script, that's going to give you access to your folder so that you can see all the content that we will create with you. And this makes editing, distribution, and publishing much, much faster. Now that your videos have been fully edited, you then go into uploading and captioning. You're almost done. Don't slack right now. Uploading the right way can boost your views and conversions in a massive way. Your caption formula is as follows. You want 3 lines max. You want a hook. So you want to repeat the main hook or insight from your videos, and then you want to have a little bit of meat and then have a call to action. So tell them what to do next, whether that's going to be to DM you, whether that's going to be to follow you, or to save the post. That's it. If you're going to use any hashtags whatsoever, don't use more than 5 hashtags. Typically, I recommend my realtors to use a location hashtag, a niche hashtag, and an intent-based hashtag. For example, your caption might be something like, "Stop making this mistake when buying in Austin, Texas. DM me the word buy for my home buyers checklist. Hashtag Austin real estate, hashtag home buyer tips, hashtag relocation." If you set up your auto DMs, this is going to be a game changer. You can use a platform like ManyChat to automatically message leads when they comment the keyword on your reel. You can go to ManyChat, create a new automation, and create your triggers with the specific keyword on your reels, on your comments, or on your DMs. And if you want to turn your content into a lead generating machine, simply follow me on Instagram so that you can see what this looks like for yourself and so that I can send you my lead magnet on how to automate your Instagram DMs. And the last step is you repeat this until you get to your desired follower count. At this point in time, you got yourself a system. Now it's really all about execution. You see, most real estate agents only hit 1,000 followers between 30 and 90 videos. And if they're consistent and follow this process, then they're going to see exactly what it's going to take in order to get to 10,000 followers or more. Treat your first 100 posts or your first 100 videos like practice reps. It's important that you remember that you're training the algorithm, you're training your audience, and most importantly, you're training yourself to create more consistently and more confidently on camera. Your growth is going to feel slow, and it should feel that way at some point in time until it isn't. One video can change absolutely everything for you. So stay the course, don't give up on yourself, and more than anything, don't be a little bitch. When you get to level 2 to go from 1,000 followers to 10,000 followers, your number one job is to learn to study your content. So step one is studying your top 5 posts. Congratulations, you've made it past the no man's land from 0 to 1,000 followers. Now it's time to get strategic. Growth from here all the way into 10,000 followers is really all about doubling down on what's already working for you. So your very first move should be to analyze your own winning content. Your top posts are actually a goldmine of what your audience actually wants to see from you. And here are some tools that you can go ahead and use to make this much easier for you. Use Instagram Insights, your native analytics. You can use the Edits app by Instagram to show you more advanced analytics for your Reels and your posts. You can also use things like Sort Feed, which is a Chrome extension for Reels, in order for you to sort your Reels by view count. Here's where you're going to go from knowing what to look for in your top 5 posts to actually executing and creating massive outliers for yourself. The posts that have gotten significantly more views and saves are the ones that you want to consistently recreate and reinvent without going across or away from those guardrails. Now that you have your analytics, it's time to break down exactly why they performed. The first thing that we want to break down is the topic. Was it hyper-specific or broad? Did it answer a common question, or was it a very broad question? Was it a seasonal video, or was it a trending video? For example, 3 home buyer mistakes that people make in Charlotte might have crushed it, but your other video that says how the market is doing may have flopped. Why? Was one specific? Was one too vague? You want to define exactly what that looks like. The next thing that you want to pay attention to is exactly what format was the content. Was it a reel? Was it a carousel? Or was it a photo? Was it a talking head video or was it a green screen video? You need to understand exactly which format it was and why it performed well. Was the pacing too fast or was it too slow? For example, your green screen video or your whiteboard walkthrough video may have hit 10,000 views. That's a signal to probably do that shit again. The third thing that you want to look for is the hook. What did I say in those first 1.7 seconds or those first 3 seconds? What did they see or what did they read on the screen that made them stop? For example, you might have said, stop scrolling if you're buying in 2026, and this got you attention. So if that's the case, then reuse the freaking hook in other videos and in different ways. It's very important that you always mix and match the energy for the things that have already worked for you. The next thing that you want to take a good look at is the editing style. Did you use the captions? Did you use emojis? Did you use B-roll? Was there a distinct color or font aesthetic that you actually used? You need to pay attention to how your best videos were used, whether they were punchy in the editing, in the captions, or if they had anything outlandish, because that's exactly what you should be replicating. And lastly, you want to also pay attention to the call to action. Did you actually tell people what to do? Was there a call to action that drove more engagement, such as comment, DM, save, or share? For example, you may have said something like, DM me the word buy for my relocation checklist. This may have driven more leads and more views to your content. Now, something that most coaches and most people are not going to tell you, and I'm not a coach by any way, shape, or form, I literally help people build client acquisition systems. So if you're in the business of actually growing your business like a business, then you want to speak with me. But when it comes to this social media shit, I got myself to over 100,000 followers by actually doing this stuff. So again, I'm not a social media coach, but I can sure as shit get you results. So as a bonus, what most people are not going to teach you or show you is that you should also be studying your 3 to 5 worst performing posts. This is exactly how you learn what not to repeat. Were they weak hooks? Was it poor lighting? Was the topic too broad? Were you off-brand and off-topic altogether? Sometimes it's not what you said, but how you presented it. And as a pro tip, what you should do is you should create a folder for what actually works. Whether you use Notion, you use a saved folder on your Instagram account, Google Sheets, or even on your Notes app, what you want to learn to do is track patterns like the format, the topic, the hook, and the view count. Of course, you want to include in there what calls to action that you use, because this is how professional creators identify repeatable success. When you identify repeatable success, this gets you into step 2. This is you doubling down on your viral outliers. This is where you go from posting random content to posting with precision. Once you've identified your top performing post, step 1, you don't reinvent the wheel. You remix the same exact wheel over and over with small and smart changes. That's what's called in the world of social media templatizing, and it's how top creators grow exponentially without burning out. And here's the thing, if you feel like your content is becoming boring, but it's actually performing, then it's okay. It's also called doing the boring work. At the end of the day, you're not creating content for you. You're creating content for people who should get to know you, like you, respect you, and trust you. So if you're in this business to just pat yourself on the back, then you're in the wrong business. Get the hell out. But if you're in this business to actually share value with people, let them get to see you, get to know you, get to know your expertise, then remember that this is not about you, it's about them and the value that you bring. So what does doubling down actually mean? It means you look at your best posts and you ask, why did this one work and how can I repeat it 10 more ways without sounding repetitive? You're not guessing, you're building a repeatable growth machine. So here's what you want to templatize. Break down your top post into 3 core parts, the hook and the template. What was it about the verbal, visual, and written hook that grabbed attention? Was it a stop word? Was it a direct call out? Or was it the words and the items that I had in front of me? The next thing you want to templatize is going to be your format template. What was the structure of the video? Was it a talking head video, a green screen video, a whiteboard breakdown, a reaction format? Reuse the same exact structure, just change the content. And the third thing that you want to templatize is what your call to action was. What did you actually ask the viewer to do? Was it to comment a trigger word, to DM you, or to follow you for more? So here's 3 ways to double down. Number 1, keep 90% of the content the same exact way and only tweak the value. Same format, same hook, same call to action, just change the meat. Maybe the tip, the story, or the offer. Or another way you could do this is keep the idea the same exact way, just change the format. Turn a reel into a carousel or vice versa, or a talking head video into a green screen video. Another way you can do this is keep the call to action and the structure the same exact way, but simply change the hook. You grab attention differently, but deliver the same exact end result. When you do this, it works because Instagram doesn't punish you for repeating. In fact, the algorithm rewards consistency in theme and in style. Plus, your audience doesn't remember everything that you post. At the end of the day, most of us are scrolling over 3 football fields worth of content each and every single day. So that's why we're always creating content for people who don't know us. New followers are always coming in, and your repetition is going to wind up becoming recognition, which will ultimately be your buyer's reflex affecting now decision, aka your brand building. Your mission in this process when you're going from 1,000 followers to 10,000 followers is to identify 3 to 5 viral outliers, to extract the hook, the format, and the call to action, to create 3 to 10 variations of each and to add them to your content calendar. Repeat this process each and every single week, each and every single month, and watch your engagement compound like clockwork. And I've never shared this step before, but this is how you use the 70-20-10 rule in order to scale growth without guessing exactly how to do it. This rule is your content strategy cheat code. If you've ever thought to yourself, what the hell do I post next? And you are dumb enough to go ask ChatGPT, this is going to be your answer. The 70-20-10 rule gives you a clear breakdown of what types of content to post each and every single month so that you never run out of ideas and every post has its own purpose. This method was used by top creators like Mr. Beast, Caleb Simpson, and many others. It's also being used by agencies who manage multi-million-dollar brands such as ours. So why use a content mix at all? Because what you need is consistent performance, not one-hit wonders. You're still learning what your audience really loves, and that's what you're going to continue to create. You need room to test without tanking your entire progress or making sure that your entire page goes to shit. This framework or this rule is going to give you stability, which is the 70%, scalability, which is going to be the 20%, and innovation, which is going to be the 10%. So let's go ahead and break down the 70-20-10 rule. 70% is proven viral formats. This is the engine of your page. These posts are based on what's already working for you and others in your niche. These should be things like recreated versions from your other viral posts or other real estate creators that are actually trending. These should be trends that have already shown to be strong and show a lot of strong traction that you're recreating yourself, or topics you know that the algorithm love. Again, here's where we insert that 5 times rule. It should also be the hooks or the scripts that you've seen go viral across niches customized to the real estate industry. Think, for example, how to buy with 3% down using the same exact voiceover, style, or hook as a viral creator in the fitness or finance world, but tailored specifically to your niche. So why 70% exactly? Because when you're growing, volume of traction matters a lot more than originality. Let your ego go to the wayside because this isn't about you. Follow the frameworks and remember that you're creating content for them, not just for yourself. 20% is where you actually use your double downs on your outliers. This is going to be your signature sauce. These posts are going to be your best performing videos. So if you need to remember that, go back and see step 1. These are going to be repackaged, reformatted, or repeated using the double down strategy. These are also videos and posts that are designed to build your brand by reinforcing what your audience already loves from you. For example, if a post with the hook, "Stop scrolling if you're moving into Charlotte, North Carolina," blew up, then double down on that and say, "Stop scrolling if you're buying in Charlotte in 2026. Stop scrolling if you're relocating to North Carolina this summer, or stop scrolling if you want to buy the perfect home in Charlotte in this year." So why 20%? Because these have already shown us that they are winners for you. So why continue to find new winners when you already have them? You've already seen proof that they've worked. Now you got to templatize them, repeat them like clockwork, because at the end of the day, no one is going to watch your content as much as you're going to watch your content. You're always creating content for people who don't know who you are. So even though it might feel repeatable to you, it's definitely brand new to the marketplace. And now we get into the 10%, which is new creative ideas. This is going to be your entire creative lab. This is going to be used for the small portion of your content to simply test things out, such as new hooks, new formats, personal stories, behind the scenes, skits, challenges, and local collaborations. This is also going to incorporate new editing styles and even new call to actions. For example, here's where you get to try that back and forth skit between the bad agent versus you. Here's how you can go ahead and showcase how funny you really are, or telling your first real estate horror story. So why do we do this? Because that 10% is where you're going to see how you can evolve your content and see if something new might be sticky with your audience. Just keep in mind that these are wildcards, and they could very well become part of your 20% double downs, or even become part of your 70% that are already proven to work. You're simply testing for the future. Now, if you're working on 20 posts in any given month, this is exactly what I would do, and this is how you can do it too, following the same exact process. Make 14 of your posts, which is 70% of them, based on proven hooks, viral structures, and niche classics, niche specific content that has already shown you that this shit works. Use 4 of your posts on the 20%, which is repeatable or remixes of your best performing content. And use 2 of your posts, which is the 10%, on things that you're looking to experiment or story-driven content that might be a hit. Now, if you are working with us, we're actually on the background color coding these things so that we know exactly what type of post we're about to publish on your behalf. But if you're not working with us, what you want to do is color code your videos so that you know exactly what's proven, what to double down on, and what's creative. This is going to show you at a glance whether you're being balanced in your entire percentage or not. Here's some mistakes that you want to avoid. Posting 90% creative experiments, that's how you actually get discouraged and simply burn out. Never revisiting what already worked in the past and simply making every post from scratch. This is going to burn you out. These are the mistakes that people typically go through each and every single time before they hire us. And if you don't want to go and spend hundreds or thousands of dollars in hiring a marketing agency, a videographer, or somebody that's strategically going to help you grow your business, and you want to figure this shit out for yourself, just make sure that you actually pay attention to what works and don't fall into the trap of thinking that you can just haphazardly do this stuff. It takes more than that. It takes creativity. It takes dedication. And like anything else, it takes consistency. Because if you don't do these things and you fall into the trap of burning out, making content just because you're throwing something at a wall, hoping something sticks, you're going to burn out, you're going to fall into the wayside, and you're going to feel like you wasted a whole lot of time, a whole lot of money, and like you actually got nothing. So here are some action steps that you should take right now. Pause this video. Go look at your content calendar, categorize each post from proven to double down and experimental, adjust your upcoming content to 70, 20, 10. Watch exactly how consistency and data are going to be scalable for you. And at this point in time, once again, you can go ahead and batch create and batch upload all of your content with intent. By now, we've shown you exactly how to study hooks that work, and you've studied what works. You've learned how to double down on your winners, and you've built a balanced 70, 20, 10 content plan. So now it's time to execute with consistency and intention, not some sort of haphazard chaos that you decided to do very last minute. Because remember, growth isn't about going viral once. It's about building a machine that consistently makes that more predictable for you. And what does doing things with intention actually mean? Posting with intent means this. Every post has a reason to exist. Every script follows your brand voice. Every hook, call to action, and value point is deliberate. You're not just showing up, you're actually showing up strategically. No more last minute scrambled posts, no more winning scripts at 11 p.m., no more forgetting to repurpose your winners. At this point in time, you should have a machine that actually does this with you and for you predictably. So let's go ahead and break this down into a real estate content machine that you can use on a month-to-month basis. Every 2 to 4 weeks, you want to sit down and script your next 10 to 20 reels using our 7-factor framework and using the 70, 20, and 10% rule. You want to use data by pulling your top hooks, angles, and calls to action from your last batch, include at least 3 double downs, toss in 1 to 2 fun or risky experiments, and use Notion or some sort of spreadsheet with these columns: hook, format, call to action, subtopic. The next thing that you want to do is film with focus. So block off some time on your calendar, because otherwise you're not going to do it. We both know this, so that you can go ahead and knock out all the filming in one go. As a tip, always bring a change of outfit for every 3 to 5 videos. Use folders to organize your raw clips per video title, and don't stop and start for mistake. Simply do one clip all the way through and make sure that in editing, you can go ahead and fix anything that you want out of that video. Remember to use multiple formats: talking head, jump cuts, green screens with local stats or listings, and reaction videos or whiteboard breakdowns. This stuff is working right now, and it's going to continue to work all of 2026. Be sure to upload things in advance. Don't post on the fly. Schedule your posts using Instagram's native scheduler or Meta Business Suite. Those are the ones that I would recommend. Remember that your caption formula is hook on the first line, a little bit of meat in the middle, and a call to action on the second or third line. Use 3 to 5 niche hashtags on the last line, and make sure that above all else, you only have one and only one call to action. Be sure to adjust in real time. Every single week, you want to review what's working, what's flopping, what trends are emerging, and what you can recalibrate for next month's batch accordingly. It's important that you promote what's popping in your industry or in your business, that you tweak what's average, and that you ditch anything that was complete shit. Posting with intent means that every single video ties back to your brand. Every single call to action leads to a clear next step. I call it the logical next step. And every month gets easier because now your data is actually helping you build momentum. If we were to do this in a 4-week period, in week 1, you want to script 20 reels using the 70, 20, 10 rule. In week 2, you want to film all of your videos and organize your footage. By week 3, everything has been edited, and now you're getting ready to write out those captions and schedule your posts. And in week 4, everything has been scheduled, and you're starting to pay attention to what's actually working. The next month, we repeat that, and that timeline begins to compress itself, and you can start creating this literally every single week. And now you're finally on level 3. You're going from 10,000 followers all the way to 100,000 followers. At this stage, it's not about content, it's about brand. And brand stands for buyer's reflex affecting now decision. For example, on a Monday morning, you don't want to watch an ad for, say, a very, very heavy dinner or a cookout meal that you have to wait until Friday or Saturday to have. But if you see an ad for a cookout or some grill or some meats or some drinks on a Saturday afternoon when you're having that cookout or you plan on having that, then your buyer's reflex begins to kick in. It's very much important that you understand that the buyer's reflex typically clicks in when people start to associate very specific things with your business or your brand at very specific timeframes. So here's an area that I want you to focus on. From just followers to real estate brand that actually converts by the time you're moving past 10,000 followers, here's how the game shifts. It's no longer about just getting views. It's about building a connection, building trust, and dropping the skepticism and building your authority. Anybody can go viral once. There's a bunch of these realtors that are rapping that actually have never sold over $5 million in sales, like those are the people I'm telling you to avoid being like. But if you want to attract clients, not just clicks, you need to build a brand that people feel loyal to. So here's exactly how you can do that. You implement emotional storytelling. Let them feel something. This is where most agents get it wrong. They teach and promote and they never connect. Humans don't remember information, but they do remember how you make them feel. So the way that you create emotion is through story. So what you want to do is you want to post more of your client wins and the transformation on how they went from renting into owning, how they sold their house profitably without going through the headaches of doing it by themselves. Your journey in real estate, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You want to talk about the first deal, the first rejection, the first referral you ever got. You want to showcase the behind the scenes on tough moments and awkward showings and deals that may fall through the cracks. You want to make sure that you understand your format. You want to talk directly to the camera like a friend, content as if you were on FaceTime. You don't want to over edit it. You want to keep this very raw and real. You want to use up-close shots and slower pacing for impact. Emotional content makes people say, I don't just trust this person, I actually like them. You also want to start emphasizing and talking a little bit more about your personal mission and make sure that the market identifies with you. Why you and why now? People aren't just hiring a realtor at the end of the day. They're hiring a person with beliefs, goals, and intention. If you don't define your mission, the market will define it for you by default. Your mission is the reason why you do what you do, the why behind your content. For example, if you're an immigrant of some sort or you help immigrants, right? You might say something like, I help first-generation buyers build generational wealth. I want to make real estate an approachable, not intimidating process because I saw X, Y, and Z go through that. I'm raising the bar for the luxury service in the area because this is what I have seen so far. And then you start building market identity by becoming known for one thing specifically in your area. Becoming known for one thing is things such as the first-time buyer agent in Tampa, the anti-sleazy agent in Scottsdale, the storytelling broker in New York City. Like this guy that's storytelling ended up getting a Netflix show. Do you know who I'm talking about? Probably. Let that drive you to see exactly how you talk, how you post, and how you show up for people. Your brand isn't just what you say about yourself, it's what your followers begin to perceive about you and believe about you. When you're getting to 100,000 followers, you're also in the process of building a community, not just an audience, but a tribe. You're not just attracting followers, you're building a local community around shared beliefs, lifestyle, and goals. So you want to start engaging with people like a leader. If you want to grow your engagement, you need to grow your engagement too. So start shouting out your followers, the people that always like and comment on your posts. Shout out your local businesses, your vendors, your photographers, your stagers. Feature clients and referrals with love. Run story polls and ask questions and then reply to people that are actually interacting with your polls, with your quizzes, with your questions. Go live every once in a while with past clients or other local creators and simply have a conversation with people. Share a weekend alive and highlights of exactly what you go through on a day-to-day basis. And then anybody that drops a nice comment, then make sure that you highlight them as well. That means that you don't see yourself as some sort of expert, but you see yourself as their person and they start seeing you as such as well. Another thing that you should be doing at this point in time is making the content about them and not just about you. You start highlighting clients and your local wins for social proof. And this is really what builds trust and it rocket fuels your brand. You don't need a testimonial page. Your whole feed shouldn't be testimonials or you with some tacky ass key by any means. But in the story form, specifically in your highlights, you start using this as a way for people to see proof that you actually help a ton of people. And this isn't even a sales pitch. It's just facts. So start sharing things like your client journeys going from before and after, or your local wins for people who have saved money when buying a home with you, or people who have made a profit when selling a home with you. You can go ahead and build a highlight story on why people choose me and really share your why video. You can use fun surprises and gifts that you have given other clients in the past. Check in with your past clients 6 to 12 months after closing and what that looks like, what that feels like. Take pictures with them. And a pro tip that I can share with you right now is you want to show faces, you want to show emotions, and you want to share the moment, not just the result. Every time you post a story like this, what you're saying is, people like you trust me and I delivered for them. That builds a brand like nothing else. Finally, followers are a vanity metric. Brand is the conversion engine. A high follower agent with fake engagement or no connection is the same exact thing as a ghost town in the DMs. But an agent with real community, real trust, and emotion, that's typically the person who closes deals without ever chasing any leads. This is exactly how you shift from that mindset of how do I get more followers to how do I serve people who are already paying more attention. The whole goal is to create content for people who are already paying attention, who want to download your lead magnets, who want to stay watching your content because you're talking to their pain points, to their desires, to the dream outcome and the dream life that only you can go ahead and support them with because you actually get them. Now, when it comes to Instagram, the window is closing because everybody by now over the last 5 years has realized that they need to create more content on social media. Can you feel it? More people are creating content. It's becoming becoming more competitive to stand out on social media, there's a quiet shift happening right now. Maybe you've sensed it in a way. You open Instagram and suddenly every agent in your city is on Reels, is creating TikToks, is creating carousels. The same exact freaking people that used to laugh at video a year ago are now hiring people like myself, buying gear, and even posting content on their own twice a day. Why is that? Because the window of opportunity for agents to dominate on Instagram and other social media platforms is still open, but it's getting tighter by the day. And now, at this very second, for you, you still have the time to do this. Own your local search so that when somebody types your city and realtor, your face shows up. Why is that? Because AI and Instagram are becoming one and the same through Meta AI, ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Gemini, because all of your content now shows up across every single social platform and AI platform. You can still also rank for strategic hashtags and appear in the feeds of real, ready-to-move buyers and sellers. Become the trusted expert in your niche, so that when people think luxury, or when people think relocation, or when people think downsizing, they think of you, not the billboard agent who's spending a shit ton of money just to have his face or his brand in front of people. But here's the hard truth that most people would avoid sharing with you, but I'm not most people. I'm actually the one person that's always going to be honest with you. Every single day that you wait, somebody else is already showing up, learning faster ways to create more content, building trust, and taking your market share. Why? Because every single day that you wait, somebody else is showing up, learning faster, implementing even faster, building trust, and taking market share from you. Maybe because the algorithm doesn't care about you, or doesn't care that you're waiting to create the perfect video or the perfect post. Who gives a shit? There's this saying that the one person that actually takes 1,000 photos will take a better photo than the one person who takes one perfect photo. Why is that? Because reps is what typically gets you great at things. And let me just tell you this, the algorithm right now doesn't care about who's been creating content the longest. It favors the ones who actually commit, go in, execute, and do it more often than others, especially than those who sit there and overthink. While you're overthinking, you could be dominating if you simply got yourself out of your own way. So if you've ever told yourself, Michael, I'm not good on camera, what I want you to think is this: when I share this video with confidence, I attract people with ease. Or maybe you'll tell yourself, I don't have the time to post daily. But what I need you to realize is that you run a marketing media company that happens to sell homes. Or maybe you'll tell me that the algorithm is unpredictable and you just don't know how to keep up with it. Or maybe, just maybe, you're the person who traces the algorithm by showing up with intention each and every single day, and you get out of your own way, get out of your own head, and start creating content right now. I'll tell you this, by now I've served over 500 real estate agents. We've coached over 6,000 real estate agents across the country on marketing systems and learning how to attract more leads, how to nurture them, and how to build a brand to consistently stay in front of people that are raising their hands to give them business. And the early adopters of this system are winning. They typically get more inbound DMs than you do. They get better clients who already trust them because they've built that reciprocity with their audience. They get referrals on autopilot because not only are we asking for them through email, through text, but we're also asking them by DMing and or retargeting people just because we're consistently in front of our past clients. Opportunities, brand deals, speaking gigs, all of those things could be yours if you simply apply this exact system that I just shared with you here today. And it all happens because they made one decision. They didn't wait for the market to help them. They actually led the market. So the real question is this: are you going to be one of those people who simply watch other people rise because they take action? Or are you going to be the person who watches them and says, they got lucky? Or are you going to be the type of person that says, well, what if? Let me remind you, the clock is ticking, but the choice is still yours. So if you're in a place where you're ready to stop guessing and you want to start growing, here's your next step. Our team here at TPOS accepts 5 to 7 clients each and every single month to help them install brand building systems, lead generating systems, and also follow-up systems leveraged by AI so that you can turn your business into the growth machine that you always wanted it to be. We don't just teach it, we actually build it, implement it, and execute on it for you. We script your videos, we edit your reels, we publish them, we install automations, we build retargeting audiences, we build the brand machine that turns views into leads. Now, this isn't for everybody. It's only for people who are very serious about dominating their local market and particularly performing extremely well on Instagram, more so than any of their competitors ever will. So if you've gotten some amazing value from this video, please do me a favor and subscribe to the channel for me to drop more content like this. Let me know in the comments any other questions that you might have about creating content on Instagram or marketing in specific. And if you want and you're ready for it, you can click the link in the description of this video and book yourself a demo. Let's go ahead and scale your presence, scale your pipeline, and grow your business more predictably. I'll talk to you soon. My name is Michael Rivero, and I'll see you on the next video.